Hello everyone and welcome back to Bandai Product and Figure Review, your one stop for everything anime and model related. And in today's episode we are going to be going over another G-Quex model kit, and this is going to be the one that has been the more controversial one, and that is none other than the GMS-1 Sugai Gelgoog GQ. And as we can see, this does not look like a Gelgoog. Here is an example of what one should look like, and this just looks like a modified GM. So as we can see, there's a big difference between these two ones, but we have to understand the backstory behind this model kit, which makes it a little bit more understandable of why it looks like this. And that's basically because the Federation lost the war. This was a design for that, and they kind of just changed the name when this particular series came out to, you know, with it being more Federation vibes. So that is why it kind of looks like a GM instead of this. So without further ado, let's roll opening and take a look at this Gelgoog from G-Quex. Let's start off with the box art for the GMS-1 Sugai's Gelgoog, or known as the Witch. And yes, this is another Witch mech pilot. So we do get a little bit of a backstory with how the development of this Gelgoog model, which looks like a modified GM. So like I said, this is what it actually looks like in the original series. So this is kind of like not even a hybrid between the two, other than maybe the face. Even the face is kind of a stretch, since this has that 3 octagonic thing, which looks like this particular figure. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. I would just say creative differences with that. But overall, it's looking like a really nice GM kit. And we can see from here, it has a lot of really nice action poses. And we also have its gimmicks, which is basically a beam rifle, sabers, and various other little things here. It's a fairly simple kit, so you're going to be expecting about what you would get for like a normal GM, but with a lot more articulations. So let's actually open this little bad boy up and take a look at the plastic itself. Starting off with the plastic, we have lovely crisp molding again. There is a lot of detail pieces here that you can come in and paint. So especially these hoses and stuff. So there's a lot of detail that you can add on. And again, I like how it has a lot more part separation and allowing more articulation. And again, it is well molded and crisp. And this even goes for some of the yellow parts, which I really don't like having to paint yellow. So I would love more part separation for yellow. And as we can see, we are getting that. And we still have nice crisp molding lines for detail for panel lining. And we also have nice coloration for a lot of these parts. And we also have like multiples. So this is C2, so we also have a C1 here, so we can actually see side by side that these are going to be a lot of the more duplicate parts for its arms and legs. And again, a lot of really nice white detail for crisp detail for panel lining. We also have the weapons parts and various joints, which is a really nice feature here. So this is looking like it's going to be for the lower waist unit, and we also have nice little blasters here. So this is a really nice touch. And moving on, we also have a duplicate part, so it's going to be the same. Lastly, we have a few of the eyes here, so we can definitely do some nice little painting. These are really tiny, so you're definitely going to need like a fine tip pen or a fine tip brush to paint these a little bit more holographic color. But overall, it is a nice turquoise looking color, so you may not necessarily need to paint it if you're just wanting to do a straight build. And last but not least, we have a couple of really interesting pieces. We also have a little wire for various weapon actions, and we also have our nice little beam sabers, which are made out of another flexible PVC clear part, giving us a lot of really cool action poses that we can do. And we also have this little sticker here, which gives us a little logo for the Gelgoog for our little witch to put on the mech. Now moving on to the instruction manual, we can see this has a really nice, cool articulation. And yeah, I just remembered what the cable is for. It's actually for her to swing around, so that was actually a really cool feature, that it actually does allow you to do a lot of really cool dynamic articulation and poses for, you know, swinging around, so that you could do a really cool diorama with that. But getting back into the instruction manual, we have again our parts list, and it does show us the color separation, which is really nice. So we have our reds, whites, yellows, and gunmetal or grays. And yeah, I like how it gives us those particular colors on what they are, especially with the PVC, so we can actually figure out what to do. And it looks like it shows us on how to put a lot of those together, and pieces where they are needing to be put on. So yeah, that's really nice for the detail on here. But overall, again, like most of these newer model kits, they do a nice part separation for head, torso, arms for both left and right. The waist unit on how it puts together, the legs, and various other pieces. And this is where you can start adding a lot more detail because of the lovely part separation that is given. And as we can see here, we have the final assembly, and we can see on the articulation that it is pretty good. And these are really nice little canisters that adds a little bit more detail with the thrusters, because that's the one thing I noticed with these kits is they add a lot of detail, which makes them more feasible. Again, they look hulky and very bulky, especially the Zaku's with a lot of the rounder joints, but you may think that looks weird, but in an engineering stance, you might be able to like fit like canisters and stuff for your thrusters. So it's a lot more interesting to actually see those features in the kit. And this is where we also have the cable wire, where this mech is able to, you know, swing around and you know, its opponents. So it's really interesting that it gives us that option. So that's going to be a fun one to do, especially if you're doing a diorama. And last but not least, we have the back of the instruction manual, which gives us a lot of really cool action poses, like I was saying about how it can like swing around like with this. So this is going to be a really cool feature, and yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun to do a build. Alright everyone, that's going to conclude this unboxing of Sugai's Gelgoog from the Gundam G-Quacks. And yeah, this has been a very interesting kit. They could have just literally called this a GM, like a modified GM, but I don't know why they decided to go with that instead of the actual Zaku. Maybe it was because it was a Federation team that was developing this particular mech, and that's just the name that they chose. But creative differences, so you can leave those comments down in the comment section down below. But overall, this was actually a nice model kit, and it's going to be a nice addition to the other 3 that I have, and I still can't wait to get more, especially the original paint scheme Gundam that Char finds in the anime. So I hope you guys enjoyed this particular content. Please like and subscribe. You guys are what's making this channel grow, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode, and stay building.